Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Kenny's here. How you doing, Kenny?
Heyo.
Kenny from the Two Moofs podcast.
Yeah, we had a discussion this morning because we, again, and I
think
know
we do this every time he comes in.
We do this every time, but we don't understand what a moof is. And then we Googled moof, and then we found out that a moof could be a bong, and then we found out that a moof could be a command. Have you heard that one?
No, I have
moof
not.
could be, right? Didn't you?
Yeah.
It was like a lazy command, like, oh, you're just moofing around or something.
Just
like
around.
Just moving around.
Just moving around.
I like
and
that.
then
That's what you should.
And then we saw a Star Wars.
Yeah, there's Moof Juice over at Disney.
Okay, moof.
It's called Moof Juice. It's a
Moof?
beverage.
Oh.
It,
Wait a minute. You guys don't do like, oh, you want some moof juice? See these nuts. All right. We're back. You don't do that, right? Is that what you do on the moves?
Take some moves.
Yeah. Are you doing like see these nuts and all that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. I might have to subscribe. Two Moofs podcast. That's where you can hear more of Kenny.
All 90s all the time.
He's also a professional. Well, you're part of the kind of the iteration of it, but you are in the professional drone racing world.
Oh, yeah. We just wrapped up our season. The semifinals aired on NBC. I know Tom doesn't get impressed by that.
I really do, because Andrea and I will watch some drone footage, and I made the mistake the other night on my Oculus, the Quest 2, of loading up some real-world drone footage so I could see it from the perspective of a drone racer. And I watched it for about 2 minutes, and then I had to take off my headset and go throw up because it is so crazy. Mm-hmm. You didn't warn me about that at all, dude. It is, I don't know how, I'm obviously dumb old man. I think you get used to it. But it's like, you're like a fighter pilot when you're wearing that headset and flying from the perspective of the drone. It's a lot going on there.
Is it too fast for you to even, like, at one point?
I'll get to it. I got better. Like, you go in for a little bit, you go out. You go in for a little bit, you go out. You know, and that's how you get yourself kind of, like, worked up, I guess.
They turn so fast.
Yeah.
And they go so fast that it's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is like, yeah.
It's not like you're you're flying in a plane. You're like, oh, you're banking.
No, that's dumb old man.
You're turning on a dime and you're going through the hoops so fast that can you even acknowledge what is happening?
Yeah, you start your turns before you even hit the loop. So it's almost like drifting in a car where you're turning and you're spinning out of control before you even go through.
And I was just watching it. I wasn't controlling it, but I'm just watching it, and it was messing with me bad. But very fun. Very fun. I'm in. I'm into the drone thing.
We're not talking drones today. We're talking charity race. What are we doing now?
Yeah, so one of the few good things that we actually do is we participate in the Cupid's Undie run, and it happens every year around Valentine's Day. It's happening not this Saturday, but Saturday the 19th in downtown Orlando, and a bunch of us will strip down to our underwear and run around Lake Eola.
You know, as time has marched
running
on,
of the boobas.
Yeah, it is bucket heads running of the boobas. Don't let anybody even trick you into thinking that this is anything other than a boobah run. We know it. Let's call it what it is. You know, Tom and Dan.
This is your standard grade A boobah.
I got to tell you something, Kenny. A lot of people in this town don't take kindly to the fact that Tom and Dan are the modern day radio Penn and Teller, where we pull the curtain down and we let you see how the sausage is made. This Cupid run, right here on this station, I'm going to tell you right now, it is a grade A boobah run if I have ever seen one.
They're calling it Marching of the Moofs in the chat.
All right. I like a moof march.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
So how do you register, and where's this going to be at?
Yeah, so it'll be, like I said, in downtown Orlando. They start at Elixir. You can go to my.cupids.org. That's the actual organization. And it's
my.cupids.org.
Yep, and if you go to my.cupids.org/2moofs, TOOMOOFS. A little Jeff Jarrett for you.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
If you go to my.cupids.org/2moofs, you can donate to.
It was a
me and our
wrestling
team.
reference, Tom.
No, I thought it was NASCAR race.
No. Oh, my God.
But yeah, and so the thing is to raise money for neurofibromatosis, which is a nerve disease, and it actually causes tumors on the nerves, and the tumors become external on the skin, so you can't wear clothes because it will basically hurt you a lot to have anything touching those tumors.
Oh my
So,
God.
as a way for solidarity, we strip down to our underwear to show it's like, hey, we'll be just as naked as you will be. And,
well,
run around.
couldn't the person take it as if you're bragging about the fact that you're not covered in these horribly hurting tumors, like the clothes tumors?
Yeah. You'd be like, hey,
I would be.
like,
I might
there's
take
a tumor.
Yeah, I might take it the other way. I might be like, look at this guy out there in his underpants doing what I can't do.
Did you
oh,
come
God,
up?
I wonder if it's gonna be cold like it is today.
It typically gets pretty chilly.
Do they have any? Do they have an FAQ section where they walk you through appropriate underwear for your moofs?
Yeah, can I wear my Savage Venties?
Yeah, like what can I wear when I'm running? I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought that in the way that we live now and the way that the world is now, with things getting canceled and this, that, and the other thing, I've seen this coming for about the last 5 years, and me as a 45-year-old man. I see these Cupid runs, and I go, well, those will go away, because there's no way that we're gonna have any more ding dong runs in the town, because people can't handle the ding dongs. You can't handle them. You can't handle the boobs. You can't handle the butts.
Isn't there like a naked bike?
No, I'm just saying. I always thought all this stuff was just gonna go away because we obviously can't handle it. Next thing you know, you got some guy being problematic at the run. It is done.
I'm sure you're escorted by police, right? Like most runs.
Are they nude? Because hey, rules are rules.
That's true. Yeah.
Nude police.
They
With just
block
the
off
belt
the streets. It ends up being so. A lot of the females end up just wearing sports bras and gym shorts, and then a lot of guys.
That's not underwear.
Well, some of them do. Some of them get in their thongers.
Yeah,
I
want people running in. I want you running in some VC Dreams from Fairvilla.
You ever see a tampon string hanging
No,
around?
too far. What are you, shock jocking over here? Hey, everybody, who invited Jokey the Jack and the Joke Man?
Jokey the Jack Man.
I like Jokey the Jack Man.
But they encourage you to dress up in costume. So my co-host and I, we've the last few years have gone in Mario and Luigi
in their underwear. See, this is problematic.
Yeah. I'm sending you
That's a kid's character.
I'm going to send you, Dan, some photos right now. But yeah, we've done that. We've done Pokemon and Ash, from that franchise. This year we're going to be going as Sonic and Tails.
Bring your kids out for this, Tom. Grown men dressed as Sonic and Tails in their panties.
I saw the trailer for the new Sonic movie. It looks good.
So hold on, are you wearing just Sonic blue underwear, or are you like painted?
No, he's got a little black dot on his nose, like a hedgehog,
with the big red shoes. Like,
why don't you dress as Ron Jeremy, the hedgehog, and you can be problematic Sonic? Yeah. Have you seen Ron Jeremy? He's a wizard now, and he's got long white hair and a long white beard, and he's like, I want to do a trial for everyone, every single accuser. He wants to do a singular trial. Let's just run him over. Run him over.
Yeah, everybody will be fine with it. We're like, oh, you had your.
You're putting these women through more and more. Your garbage. Just run him over. I'm sorry, I'm fired up.
I like
today.
just run them over.
I agree. Like they did a Roger Rabbit. They did who's the guy? Like they did Tom Brady.
Judge Doom.
Tom Brady.
Well, Tom Brady dressed like that one time. And
Judge Doom.
Yeah, I always call him Tom Brady now. But yeah, just run him over with it nice and flat and move on.
So how many people are going to be in this run? Did you pay to block off the streets or just run on the sidewalk?
Well, I don't know. I'm not the charity organizer.
No, okay.
But yeah, they do that. They get the police to, at least from Elixir to Lake Eola, they have blocked it all off just for the entry and coming back.
Nice.
And then we do one lap around Lake Eola, and then we just get wasted at the bar.
Do you stay in your panties?
Oh, yeah.
Do you
underwear
in the bar?
Whole time. Yep, underwear the whole time. It's fantastic.
I love you, Kenny. You know what? You're a brave man, and the fact that you adhere to the underwear-only policy and you don't bring like some robe to cover up, big points in my book.
And what's great is the drunker you get, the wilder the party gets. So you might be seeing some 90s.
All right. Again, goes back to my whole problematic speech from earlier, but.
So, and this is happening what date again?
Saturday the 19th. And people can still register to run as well. It's only about like $50 to register. And you can be a part of
do a Tom and Dan group?
Yeah, you can be part of the Two Moofs team as well.
What? No, we're on.
I mean,
what other Sonic characters would we be?
I would run with you, but Tom would not want to run with us because I think of everybody on the show, I wear the tiniest underpants.
Yeah, there are people there that like. So typically,
Sam is modest. I mean, I don't see her wearing any for her husband, sure, she'll spice it up and go crazy, but not around here. Certainly not for a run.
It's unfair for Samantha.
Yeah, this guy's like a
because it's way more.
There's more. She's got
painful.
a lot more going on.
Well, not even painful, but it's like more riskier. Not even riskier. It's you're putting more out there.
You know
what I'm saying? And it's like it's more.
More things to cover.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got a bigger company, and with a bigger company has more products, and with more products means you got to have them out on the street. I'm a small company, I got tiny products.
Yeah, and you're attracting more attention, so it's like it's kind of unfair for Samantha because for me and Daniel, we're just two fat dads, and we're just we're staying in their underwear, and then Samantha's there, and then everybody's taking the secret pictures.
But I will say, after a while though, because there's going to be so many people there, there's a lot of people who represent the LGBT community, so there's a lot of dudes out there that are just way flashier, and they're going to get more attention than the ladies.
Good call. Didn't think about that.
Do
you oil yourself up at all?
I personally don't, but there are people that do.
Do you do anything to, are you wearing just underwear, or are you wearing a second set underneath to kind of smooth things out like a Spanx?
It depends. So the first time when I wore just boxers, I wore two because I didn't want the fly hole to be, flapping in the breeze.
Also, it's like there's no support there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but last year or 2 years ago, because last year they didn't do it because of COVID, but I wore boxer briefs and that was totally fine. But there are guys in there in the tighty whities and they don't shave at all, so you literally just see some tighty whities with some like poof.
Yeah, that's me.
Come on,
that's what definitely.
Yeah,
that's what I have.
Can't do that.
No, they're not poofing out the leg holes or anything, but I mean, you can see that I'm an actual man and that there is a.
Just smooth it out.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the Cupid run with a bunch of razor bumps on my upper pappus.
But for someone like Sam, there's a lot of females out there, and again, they just wear like the tiny gym shorts and just a sports bra, and that's good enough.
I'm gonna need more than one sports bra.
You got to wear one on each boob
and tape them down like Christina Ricci, and now and then.
I think I'm going to wearing a sports bra.
And obviously, as a bustier lady, have you seen the boob?
How dare you? Get the hell out of here.
All right. Have you seen the boob tape where it's literally just like tape and you just lift it up and strap it to your shoulders?
I don't think that'll work for me, Kenny.
Boob tape?
No, I've seen some bustier women, they instead of, because bras
that'll last for 2 seconds.
They can't find bras that fit them, so they do boob tape that basically just like almost hoists it up and tapes to their
I don't want to have anything on my body that I have to hoist.
Let's talk about that black athletic tape that you've seen like sports stars.
Volleyballers wear.
Yeah. Is Keezy?
Yeah.
Because
it just looks all over
Ralph
the place.
Kazarian tape?
Every once in a while.
Keezyastic tape? Something. It's some dumb made up name. It doesn't work, right?
Well, my wife sees this like a masseuse, like a medical masseuse.
So does Andrea. And then Andrea wears the tape because she...
Yeah, like
she thinks she's Venus Williams or something. I'm like, you're
So when Crystal comes home and she's got the tape like on her shoulder or whatever.
Hey, everybody, LeBron's here.
Oh, my God.
Listen, I've learned not to say... I don't
go
say
all
anything.
in. I go all in. I'm like, look at this. I'm like,
say
hey, what are you going for your fifth ring? What are you doing?
It's because I see the tape, and then in my mind, I'm like, that don't do nothing. Because
how was your pickup game, Woody Harrelson?
Now,
I go all in on
If you
Andrea.
are Serena Williams, I'm like, it's
Serena.
That's how rednecks show love. They're like, Serena, you is so good. You is such a good tennis player. Serena?
She's such a high quality athlete that every single muscle counts when you're making that fast twitch movement when you're trying to get, you know what I'm saying?
Micro decision.
Yeah, you're making these micro decisions. So like 1/8 of a second in your movement makes a difference between you hitting the ball right. So like all that. Yes,
proper warm up.
You gotta wear the tape.
Hydration.
But for my wife, she gets home and she's cooking some goulash, and then as you stand.
Ooh, that'll help your stirring arm.
They just did that because they charge you $35 or whatever. Like, it was like they gave you the $35
in the early 2000s when Allen Iverson had the one compression sleeve, and then every single fat dad at the pickup game was wearing the compression sleeve.
Compression sleeve. You're compressing your heart to death.
And all these things you see the athletes do that, yes, the athletes are doing them because, like, Tom Brady needs every single
I'm glad
tiny
it's not just
advantage.
me, because that was a big fight in our house, and I made fun of Andrea, and then she never wore it again. You know, I shamed her. I shamed it out of her. But I'm like, what are you doing?
I can't say anything because
my wife
Mara's like, you don't believe in nothing. You're like, you're a miserable human. I'm like, God damn.
Put tape on your mouth.
I'm just making fun of the tape.
I just want to laugh at the tape, man.
You can't make fun of her with the tape if you're not going to give her compliments too. You got to do
Nah,
some compliments and do some roasting.
I like your tape. You have some nice looking tape.
I only notice things that I want to criticize.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I only notice.
It's a disability.
I only notice the things I hate.
Well, I'm not even hate him. I'm just making fun of him. Because I'm
it's weird.
really good at making fun of stuff.
It's odd to see my wife wearing a pair of bongo jeans and a satin yellow blouse with penguins all over it, and then she's got her arm taped up like she plays U.S. women's beach volleyball. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah. And it's not,
And I don't think it does anything. Can you look that up, Sam? I don't believe that tape has any...
It does something to the, the best athletes in the world because...
It's supposed to ease pain and disability from athletic injuries and a variety of other physical disorders.
How? How does the tape... You tape up your muscles?
Well, think about, like, if you are in the best shape and you're the highest tier athlete, like, all your muscles, like, I'm sure adding that tape holds them together and less likely for strain, or if you did strain them, it helps the healing process. You know what I'm saying? They're all trying to get micro advantages. There's a reason why, like I said, Tom Brady doesn't eat strawberries and stuff. Like one strawberry,
he's really missing out.
But it's like you have to do every single thing you can because at that level, like every percentage advantage helps.
I mean, Sam threw it in here.
Not with your regular mom.
Anything though that uses this phrase, purported.
Yeah.
When I read purported, I'm like, well, you're making that up. You're just saying that you think it
So
could.
it says when you apply it to your body, it recoils slightly, gently lifting your skin. It's believed that this helps to create a microscopic space between your skin and the tissues underneath it.
Nah.
And it also creates space in between joints.
Nah.
Well, at that level, though, it may have a micro advantage that they need.
Yeah.
Same thing with the cups.
Have you ever worn it?
Hell no. No, I need.
My chiropractor did the same thing that your wife did.
4 White Claws, whatever advantage I'm getting, I'm taking it all away.
No, but I couldn't.
At the end of everything.
I don't think there was an advantage. I think this is like dowsing rods.
When your wife shows up with that, you should have eye black with like the wraparound Oakleys and just be like, listen, I'm trying to reduce glare in my eyes.
Yeah, man.
Well, anything
reduce the glare of your beauty. Add that in there, and you're killing 2 birds.
Listen,
you're just making fun of me now.
If the NFL does
that's
it,
probably accurate.
Then it probably means it's helping making someone more money. So I'm following the money. Like if the NFL trainers are doing it, it probably does a little something. That's all I'm saying. Like same thing with like. There's all like the cups, the hot cups that all the when Michael Phelps was getting the hot cups on his back. For him, it probably helps at that level with him being an Olympic swimmer. The regular fat dad get the hot cups not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the hot cups don't do anything for you.
I got taped up by a chiropractor one time, and they're like, "This will ease pain," and I'm like, "I didn't notice anything."
Yeah.
I'm pretty in tune. Like, I feel a lot, right? Like I'm the most, I notice a lot of things within my body. That's kind of my hypochondria thing, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't notice it doing anything good other than when I finally had to take it off, I had to extra scrub some of the sticky tape off my skin.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Because you're not a high-functioning athlete that would notice tiny muscular differences.
I don't even think high-functioning athletes can tell. I'm going to go ahead and say that for me that this is just like dowsing rods. I'm going to say that this is all BS.
I think there's some physical trainers out there that would say like,
it could also just be muscle memory too. Like let's say that someone got injured and they wear some of that tape because to help with like the rehab, but then they got so used to wearing it while they're playing that it's more of a comfort thing for them.
Now that I can see.
All right. What do you guys want to do? Want to do some voicemail?
I emailed Dan a couple of photos. If you want to pull that up
Yeah.
for that, you get to see me in my underwear.
You want to see Kenny in his underpants?
Oh, from the
Yeah,
last.
so-
Okay, hold on a second. Kenny.
That's me and my buddy as Mario and Luigi.
All right.
All right, hold on a second. I gotta open these with.
Is that the other move?
Yeah,
That is the
that's
other
my
man.
co-host
Okay,
Matt.
all right, yeah.
He came in for the Shark Tank idea with the little pee
we don't
pads.
remember.
Oh,
anything.
yeah. Kenny, you're referencing anything wouldn't matter.
All
I was
right.
like, I have no idea.
Anything.
Well, I remember the pee
not,
pads.
Not that one. Hold on. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons today, guys.
Oh, then I remember then like, oh, you did this for your promotion. Were you promoting moves back then?
Probably.
No,
Probably
man,
a
that's
big-
a long time.
big scam.
How long have you been moving?
A few years now.
All right, so there's the
Yeah, so
Mario-
there's me and my buddy as Mario and Luigi, and then there's another photo of us as Ash and Pikachu.
Okay.
But yeah, and you can kind of see, and if you go to my.cupids.org, you can
Oh,
see
wow.
it's basically like EDM. It's
We
just
don't
people,
see any underwear in this. We just
people-
see your chest.
Yeah, it really just looks like you and your boyfriend are taking different selfies in Europe.
well, possibly. But yeah, it's basically like EDM. People just wear like fairy wings and like tutus around their underwear and stuff. So
Okay.
that's how people wear thongers. Then they put a tutu over it so you can't see too much while they're running. But
I wish most people would put a tutu over their thonger because, there's only, never mind.
I wanted to talk about the Super Bowl a little bit because
Kenny's a gambling man.
yeah.
as we move forward, like all the Super Bowl bettors come out of the woodwork, and like of course they got all the ridiculous prop bets and stuff.
Kenny, you geared up for the halftime show? You excited?
I heard you guys talking about it, and
Do you disagree with it? I got some hate mail about people that were like, Dr. Dre and Eminem are two of the best onstage performers you will ever see. And I'm like, no.
Because
no.
remember, like the early 2000s VMAs when Eminem had like 100 people that literally looked like him when he did Real Slim Shady.
But those people
That was
were-
when he tried hard. Though,
Yeah,
too.
but
he
those-
ain't trying that hard
But
anymore.
those people with him were great. I will give you that. But if you take all those 100 white trash kids out of there that had their hair dyed just like him to do that, it's just him putting on a pretty normal performance, right?
Also, guaranteed, Eminem is a weirdo.
Look at his beard.
And not even because he was a weirdo when he started, because he's a weirdo because the past 20 plus years, he's been one of the most famous people in the world, and for sure has been secluded and living who knows what kind of life. I mean, there was some, the story, I don't know if it was an urban legend or whatever, some reporter told Eminem about internet porn, and he didn't realize, is like some weird thing where he didn't realize certain things that the normal society realized because he was so secluded in his own little bubble. Because where do you go as Eminem? You can't go anywhere. So all you are is like in a studio working, or like in maybe you go out to random events and like parties and things. But
I always
other than
thought that
it's
was
like you can't-
fake, but that was an interesting. I
But it's
remember
been
that.
20 years as a millionaire, the most famous person. You can't do anything. So you're going to be a weirdo regardless, just because now that's your life, which is different than all our lives.
But knowing Eminem and how his brain works, do you think he could have just been goofing with them? Just be like, you know what? If I say that
I
I've
don't
never
even know that that's an accurate story.
Who knows?
But if I say-
I believed it.
if someone like Eminem's like, listen, I know what people think of me. If I say I
Right.
don't know internet porn, they're gonna believe it.
True. And it could just be him messing around. But regardless, there's no arguing that he has lived a bizarre life the past 20 years, which probably made him not relatable to the rest of us, right? Because that kind of life of being that famous and being that rich and not being able to do normal things for the past 20 years is going to turn you into some type of personality.
He had there was a period after his initial domination where I remember as a young man him kind of pulling away from social media, from regular traditional media, legacy media and whatever, pulling back, going into almost seclusion, getting fat. Everybody was saying, I'm not saying this, but everybody's like, he's getting fat. He's drugs again, or he's like, do you remember what I'm talking about? Where he wasn't releasing any music, you didn't really hear about him, and
but then he came out with the album of him getting off drugs,
relapse,
relapse. And that was so he got cleaned and whatever, and then but. It's just regardless, he doesn't understand how normal people live anymore, right?
Yeah.
He can't. When you're that famous and rich, your life is different than the rest of us.
But then he'll show up at the Mom Spaghetti pop-up and serve spaghetti to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe he does enough
Which
of that
is what
stuff
makes
to
him
keep,
weird. Yeah,
to
he's
keep
weird.
him grounded, or like maybe this is a cool thing for a famous person to do. And maybe he will try just as hard as he always has.
I'm
But
sorry, I was looking up when he was quote unquote his fattest, and there's an article that says that time Eminem got so fat the cashiers at McDonald's knew him by name. You don't need to make that your headline.
Why would you say that? Like, that's not true, right? There's no way that's true.
Well,
There's no way
and
they
what was
interview the
also-
cashiers. They're like, yeah,
Tom,
we know
what was
Marshall
your-
Mathers.
Also, at every McDonald's, the cashier knows Eminem. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'll just.
Would they call you Marshall?
Like, yeah. Like, of course they know him by his name. It's
Well,
Eminem.
let me see a photo of Fat
everybody-
Eminem. I want to see. Should I Google it?
Every cashier.
Well, I want
at-
to ask Tom, what was your biggest that you got up to?
220.
He got up to 230, so you guys aren't
Oh,
too far
wow.
off.
That's pretty big because you see a picture of me at 220, you're like, whoa! So 230, and he's about as.
But you were also wearing tight polos. He didn't do that. route.
Yeah. How tall is Eminem?
Let's
Is he
see.
like
I don't
6
think he's
foot?
that tall.
No, he can't be that tall.
He's like
5'10", 5'11".
5'9", 5'10".
I feel like everyone I know is 5'11". Everyone I know, except for me, I'm 5'2".
He's 5'8".
Okay.
Oh, he's a
so
little
yeah,
guy.
no, 5'8",
220, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
230.
one.
That's pretty fat. So
Is that him? Is that him fat?
It reminds
Hard
me.
to tell from just that photo. It might
That
be.
is a smooth Eminem,
Yeah,
right?
he
He's
don't look that
smooth
bad.
there.
he's not 230 there.
No, he's smooth there though. I don't think he has any photos of
I bet
him.
I bet
He
that's
hid
when
away.
he was
That's when I told you he was a
the height of his
recluse.
addiction, yeah.
It's
and
odd
he-
when you put Fat Eminem. It's just a bunch of photos of Fat Joe with
Yeah,
Eminem.
why did they put Fat Joe next to Eminem?
Yeah. Oh man, Fat Joe got that painted on beard that's really popular in certain communities that I am obsessed with and I want, but Tom won't let me do it. He said it would ruin the show if I got that beard.
No, you can
I
get
said
it.
it would I said it would put us on the map. If I went to a Latin barber and said, "Give me that spray paint."
Yeah,
It's got to be dark too, so you're
Yeah,
gonna have to
I
dye
want it.
Yeah.
I want it dark. Like I look like I am the new tiny 5'2"
Do it.
governor of a Caribbean nation. I want a tight.
But then you'll eat like a Chipotle burrito and accidentally
No, I don't think it
smear
rubs off, man. Look up
Really?
what that stuff's called, Sam. We've talked about it before. John the Barber knows about it.
Yeah.
In the Latin community and with some black guys, they love to get it like edged out perfectly. I think it looks cool.
Like the lines are not natural straight. Like they're like computer straight.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
You're
Dot's Matrix.
Why is that line
Who printed
so
your beard
straight?
on you? What is that, a Xerox?
yeah.
Like when you have a good barber, like it's good having nice lines, but when they're too good, then it looks
No,
really
I like
weird.
it. I want
You
it.
don't look like a human anymore.
I
You look
want-
like a Lego piece.
I
or
want to
something.
look like a Lego. I'm the size of a Lego. I should have a tiny Caribbean governor beard. That's what I want. Tight.
What I miss is the 80s and early 90s dad beard, like the dad from Family Ties, where it was just like bushy, but not like scraggly.
Oh, it's a Jim Henson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jim Henson, where it's just, but it's like perfectly
Rounded
manicured.
That's
poof.
called the puppeteer.
I like it, the
Yeah.
rounded poof.
Yeah.
Give me
The
the
puppeteer,
give me the
yeah.
puppeteer.
It
You
is-
can't say Jim Henson. You get sued. You got to say frog puppeteer. Give me
So-
the frog puppeteer, please.
Back to Super Bowl gambling. So there's this story, and this guy does this a lot. He did this with the World Series or whatever. Mattress Mac, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
I know the M word Mac from Busey. I'm not familiar with
This is
mattress
Mattress
Mac.
Mac.
Okay.
He's an old dude that likes to make these grandiose bets on like the World Series or Super Bowl. He's done it before. The only problem with it is like, and the headline is like, "Oh, Mattress Mac does it again," and this particular bet.
Does it again.
I think-
Mattress Mac rides again.
I think it's a record number. Like he bet 4.3 million on
Holy
the Bengals or
moly.
whatever money line. So
Bengals.
he Bengals.
No,
You
no,
can say
it's way
Bengals.
no. You can't say
Yeah, you
Bengals.
can, you can.
Bengals are a band. Bengal is a tiger.
Sorry, not to distract too much, their cheerleaders are called the Bengals.
Stupid.
Whoa, I like that.
So
The Bengals.
but all and apparently you read into the story like he did this promotion at his mattress store, and this is how he's always done it, where he does a promotion if like this team wins, then you get, and this particular one he's like, if Cincinnati wins the Super Bowl, then
Cincinnati, cool flex.
then everybody that will get a refund up to $3,000 on their furniture purchase
It's a lot
at
of
my
dough.
store.
Yeah,
So-
it's a lot.
so basically, he'll give everybody up to $3,000 $3,000.
It's worth
He
your
puts a
time.
cap
Yeah.
if you bought furniture within the week, right? So
That's
it's
a sleep number mattress right there.
So it's
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
A twin.
Yeah, for babies.
but it's a big promotion.
Still paying
So
on that. Ooh.
he basically sells a bunch of mattresses, and then people hopefully can get up to $3,000 back.
And why wouldn't you? Like I would if I were we actually are in the market for some furniture. If this guy were in Orlando, I would 100% be a part of it.
It's a furniture store and mattress. He's not just mattress.
Yeah.
But
It's fun.
So then all he does, it's actually brilliant by him, and it's a brilliant marketing move because that's really what it is like he's after that week of promotion, he sees how much money he could possibly lose if Cincinnati wins, right? He looks at what what his risk is. And then he knows the number, and then he bets it on Cincinnati to win. So if Cincinnati does win and he has to pay it back, he's bet the money. So he basically hedges his
and the only gray area in there that's weird that Tom and I couldn't get a dial down a correct number on would be your advertising. And I'll use this example to say how important it is. Tom and I are in Florida, and we're just two guys doing a podcast, and we talked all morning about it. So
then
a lot of money there.
And the only risk basically is if Rams win, he loses his Cincinnati money bet, but he doesn't have to pay back the mattress thing, and he gets the publicity for the $4.3 million bet that everybody's talking about, which in a national news media with enough people covering it, you could make the argument that this is worth $4.3 million in advertising. Plus, you write advertising off. So if this whole thing can be written off,
I wonder how his accountant would do that, because there are certain promotional items and things that we can buy here that depending on what we use it for. Like if we bought koozies strictly to give away, that is completely a write-off.
And so how many BDM memberships do you think it would take if you put money on
that's
Rams?
okay. That's where I'm going here.
I don't want to do that. This is too
What?
real. It's too real.
What do
Too
you mean?
real.
But it's smart because
I don't want to be the mattress
He
guy.
phrases it as you get a refund, so that puts the responsibility on the customer to try to get their money back. So you're going to be making money that way.
And
I think 30%. You're going to get a solid maybe 20% of people won't even.
Yeah, but you're not losing it all.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
20% won't even bother to fill out the paperwork because
might be higher.
It's kind of like I've never in my life when they said the rebate $200 rebate.
I do it every single time.
I've never filled that paperwork
Every
out.
time.
And I've bought something because $200 rebate and then never filled it out.
I'll make you mad.
Too
I
lazy.
filled out a Dunkin' Donuts survey this morning to win $200. I do all of them.
I've never filled out so the Mattress Mac would have got my money even if Cincinnati won because I probably wouldn't. Now $3,000.
That's a lot of dough.
I may fill out the rebate to get that back, especially if I bought it for that purpose. But so back to the whole fun of gambling, right? So this is just a brilliant marketing move where there's no really loss. So the fun is taken out of the actual gamble. And that's what happens when you gamble smart. You take the fun away because you start hedging and things like that. It's not fun. Like people want all or nothing. That's the fun of gambling for most people, right? It's like you either get the money or you lose all of it, right? And then but for people that are smart about it, they hedge it. And this guy's just playing the system and then marketing. It's a win-win for him. There's no scenario where he loses really.
Yeah, this is fun for this dumb old man.
Exactly. And he's rich, old man.
This is his fun little thing.
It'd be way better if you knew that there was no hedge, and then if the Bengals won,
I appreciate that.
then he'd have to refund all that money, because then you'd be sweating with him because you're like, oh, he lost it, old man.
Yeah.
For now, it's just like whoever wins is like, oh, whatever, the old man wins.
Let me ask you this. In the beginning of him doing this, did he try to not say anything? In the beginning, or
people don't understand. So no matter what, most people just hear that he made a $4.3 million bet, and they're like, "Whoa, this crazy old man."
They don't even. Is he very? My point is he open about the hedge?
Well, now he probably is, but I'm sure at the beginning people are. You get the local newscast that comes up.
He was keeping that close to the vest at first, right? Because like you're saying, it is more important if he does it that way.
And the gambling podcasts talk about the hedge, but the regular mainstream media doesn't talk about the hedge because it's not as salacious. And all the mainstream media, and I say mainstream, but corporate media, all media wants is the click.
Yeah.
And so old man bets 4.3 million on Super Bowl, that gets a click. It's not like because he hedged an advertising bet and so he wins no matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like they just want the click, so that's what people hear. It's
what if
that leads us back to we should do it with
What
Tom
if he
and Dan.
loses 4.3 million? Bud Dwyer on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We'd have to stream it to get the clicks
but that 4.3
to earn the money.
That money is what he must have made in the mattress sale. That's what, and then or the 7.5. This is all thought out, because that 4.3 million wins him 7 million because he's betting on the money line and it's plus money right now.
He's doing the correct equation to try and get to even.
Yeah. So whatever happens, but it takes the fun out of it. That's all I'm saying. Like I want all or nothing bets when these kind of things.
Okay,
like,
I'll tell you something. You must be like having an influence on me because, and I know I keep bringing these up, but Madden this season, for the 22 edition at least, going into the Super Bowl, they give you a list of bets that you can now apply some of your cards to, and then if these bets come to fruition, you will gain points or coins.
Yeah.
And at first, I went really heavy on the Bengals. I chose every bet. All of my bets were only Bengal bets, meaning that I did not hedge in any way, shape, or form anything with the Rams. I want Joe Burrow to win. I think he will win, and I'm just that's what I'm feeling. So I just went with that. I'm just like, that's the way I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I started overthinking it. Went and I hedged everything. I just went. I just bet it all. I evened it out. So now, no matter what, I'm getting some coin back, and you are correct. Well, it's not as much fun. I ruined it for myself, and now I can't go back. I can't change my bets. Once they're in, and I've already hedged them, and now it's ruined.
Because
it's
now
not as much fun. You are correct,
and that's not really hedging them. It's betting both sides, which is your guaranteed loser.
Guaranteed loser.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because now you're just playing the vig. Now with these kind of things, if you're not betting real money, it doesn't matter anyway, and it's all video game nonsense. But anyway, I'm just saying I like a good old fashioned all or nothing.
Well, the only way it wouldn't be video game nonsense is if people didn't pump real money into the video games, which they do. So in a weird way, it is real money, which I'm sure they'll button down at some point.
So you can technically, how does that work? Because you couldn't bet.
No. You can't put money in and use that money to bet. But my point is, within that system, we're this close to being able to do that because you can put your own money in to buy a select card you want, and then you could go and auction that card off somewhere else within the universe of Madden. You see what I'm saying? We're that close. But you cannot.
It's like how
you can't bet your own money. That would be highly illegal.
It's
but
like
we're this close.
Those retirement centers always used bingo as a way to gamble. It's like, oh no, you're not gambling. You're purchasing bingo cards, and then
the prizes were butter cookies, coffee, Keurig cups. Yeah.
It's how FanDuel and DraftKings.
My point is, there's still real money going in
to
make your team better, which is still funding us betting. The betting is over here doing its own thing. You can't affect it, but you're pumping money into it to try and get your team better.
Well, in Japan, how they skirted that, they'd have those pachinko centers where I used
to have one of those machines.
Really?
Somebody gifted me one of those machines, and it was missing some of the balls. But they were like, "Yeah, you should hang it up in your house." I'm like, "Yeah, that'll look trashy."
But what they would do is you would win stuffed animals or trinkets, but then you would literally just walk next door and exchange those trinkets for the amount of money that you ended up winning. So that's how they skirted around the gambling rule.
We should do that.
The NFL is full bore into partnering with DraftKings and FanDuel, and Caesars is now trying to get in the game. And
I see old what's his name dressed as those commercials.
Oh, there's JB Smoove.
JB Smoove. I see the JB Smoove Caesars commercials more than any gambling. How much money are those dudes spending?
When you're in Vegas, you see Jamie Foxx for the MGM's.
I see
version.
those.
Yeah.
But he's in a full suit. He don't dress up anymore.
I heard some guy on a podcast talk about
he's Ray
how
Charles, man.
The basically the NFL is becoming stronger and stronger, and because of the rules change and because of gambling and fantasy football and they've basically changed the rules to protect their superstars, which is why the NBA has been so popular for so long, is just because you have this longevity with these high profile superstars that become like the narrative for and the entertainment. It's like you got the LeBrons and the Kevin Durant's and all these like these superstars that have longevity in the league. They're not, people get to know them and now the NFL is set themselves up to do that, to have long-term Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, they're trying to do that. Yeah, and
like,
baseball's always had that, by the way, with more loyalty even spread on it. Like somebody like I'm trying to think of the dude that plays for Atlanta that everybody wanted to stay there, Freddie.
Freeman.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman. Like, you're right. I've never thought about that.
But not as entertaining as a sport.
Certainly not.
And then also, with baseball, the gambling is more complicated and there's a lot more statistics. And with the NFL, it's easier for people. But anyway, like they're setting themselves up to be, even though they are already, but like. Such a gigantic marketing force. Plus, in a world that people don't watch live events anymore, as much, it's like that's one live event that people are all watching on TV at the same time, which is the marketing to that is insane.
Here's an anomaly that Tom will try to rack his brain around. If the team wears their away jerseys, they have won outright 14 of the last 16 Super Bowls. There's zero correlation, and it doesn't make sense, but 14 out of the last 16 Super Bowls have been won by the team wearing the away jerseys.
That's nonsense. Kenny.
It's an odd one, though.
But it's an odd coincidence.
It is very odd.
It statistically doesn't make sense. It should be a 8 out of 16, but it's 14 out of 16.
Yeah, he's saying it's nonsense, but it's certainly, it's just that's the way it's laying.
Yeah. Well, unless you believe in magic and there's such thing as some sort of spell, then it's just pure.
Well, the Bengals are wearing their home jerseys. So.
Yeah, go Bengals.
Let's talk. Joe Burrow is going to become like. We got to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail, email.
Let's do email.
I like you said voicemail. Looked at me.
I like that I feel like the last couple of weeks we've been a little more cash around here, and I kind of like it.
Don't say cash.
Okay, that's now on the rules list.
A little more
Don't
casual.
say cash.
A little more casual. So peep those emails, fam.
Tom's appearance. Hey, Tom and Dan and Sam.
Lit.
On A Corporate Time the other day, Tom mentioned how listeners pictured him looking. When he first came on the show, social media wasn't huge, or at least I didn't check to see what drunk he looked like. I pictured him being older. The exaggerated voice said mid-30s drunken clown.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see he was my age and pretty cute. Dan was actually quite like I pictured him. 90s cool guy. Bleached, spiky hair, collared shirt, sleeves rolled up a quarter of an inch. Or a quarter of the way, jeans with the tiny cut in the seams so they drape over the chunky boots. I was close. Love you guys. Jesse.
Oh, yeah, I used to cut did you ever do that? I used to cut the edge of my jeans, but you're not a short man. Being a short man, I would cut right here, this little seam. So when I wore boots, it would give it almost like a slight... bell bottom.
Yeah. I used to wear bell bottoms.
And I was
middle school
wearing a lot more boots and riding a lot more motorcycles. And the majority of the clothing I wear now is very loud.
Didn't you always used to joke it was like Power Man 5000 or whatever?
Yeah. I was in that world. I'm like Hot Topic Light or whatever you want to call that. I don't know. I don't know where I was taking my style cues from. Whatever I thought was cool.
The late 90s bled into the 2000s, and then after the internet, basically there's no more like stereotypical genres anymore, right? Because the internet diluted it all. Like there's no
pretty much took it away, and then now people are like basically you see a lot of individuals now.
Yeah, I think the last faction of that was emo. Like I would say in like 2007, 2008, like that
emo scene.
Yeah, like everybody had that hair
like
the same hair.
Yep, the swoopy over
and then a lip.
Sat about everything.
Okay.
I was the poster child.
I like this look.
It's coming back, by the way.
I'm just going to speak from the heart
here.
You guys
on Scene Talk?
I'm going to speak from the heart here. I was very much attracted to that look. I liked when girls were doing it, the swoop, and then they'd have the piercings, and they kind of just, I into that.
Well, guys would have like the guy liner and then like the super tight jeans that painted on.
I don't feel like
the white belt.
It didn't seem like that lasted very long, though.
It did.
Did it?
Yeah.
It's just like it just felt that way. I never understood the skinny jeans thing because for the most part, as around here, most of the people that were wearing that, especially in that scene, were like dumpier, frumpier dudes, and you would get that like beer gut, and then you'd squeeze your frog ass into these jeans, and then you get, and for everybody,
White
it's
dudes
just
have frog ass.
Yeah, you white dudes got frog ass, and you look like a, and it just it was never. Did girls, and I'm sure that they did girls look at those frogs and go like, that's a nice looking frog at? Like, what was that like?
I think they like the aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird though thing. You look like like a blow pop. You look like a blow pop. You got like a big muffin on top of tiny
two sticks.
Yeah.
Because you'd have the spiked bracelets to go along with it. It's more the vibe than I think the frog ass.
But that
I can't get past the frog ass.
and you wouldn't really categorize like the 2000 to 2010, like that decade, as that, right?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
But by
Yeah.
2000, 2007, I would say.
Yeah, people categorize that hard, man.
Well, I'm saying, like not like the 90s. Like the 90s, you start it has a overall like I
'cause
guess
it has
brand that you could be like, oh, that's
Yeah.
90s, and there's like really not that with the 2000s.
I
with-
think if you dressed as a scene kid, that people could be like, oh yeah, that's the 2000s look.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. That
Like
hair,
early 2000s.
yeah, piercings.
that
or-
came from that genre, but I'm saying that doesn't represent the whole
No,
thing, you
no.
know,
It was a
like-
subset.
Okay, so
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah,
it
I
became
see what you're
more
saying, right.
segmented and subset of like. So then there was 20 or 30 different things and coming out of there instead of this that one, the triangles and the orbs of the 90s. You know, and then the literally the colors. It was like, oh, that's 90s.
Yeah, I can get that.
You know, which is a shame. There will be no more of that moving forward. Like
It'll
a
just
decade that someone
change into something else. Where
Yeah.
are we at with jeans now? Because I see everything. I see
Big boxers.
yeah, I see
Big old boxies.
Yeah, I see like big box jeans,
High-waisted boxy.
high-waisted. I see acid wash. I see
And bell-bottoms are back, too.
workwear. I see bell bottoms. I see flared.
So it's so weird.
It's all over the place.
It's almost like it's an every man for himself, be what you want to be kind of a thing, and I'm cool with that.
So
That's way
it's
better.
a weird wave. In the 80s, everything was tight. In the 90s, everything was baggy. Back to the 2000s, everything's tight.
Yeah.
So now it's getting. I should be
getting
on the
baggy
end
again. We're on the baggy.
Well, it's become whatever your bubble is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's
I got a baggy bubble.
That's true. You want to do the opposite of the generation before you because that's not cool anymore.
What do
Yeah.
you like to wear?
I don't remember whatever
Shorts and a
jeans-
polo, right?
Yeah. As far as
What's
Like,
your,
if you're
what's
at
your
home-
casual?
Yeah, like if you're at home and you're
Casual.
putting on your favorite outfit. Do you have a favorite outfit? I have a favorite outfit.
no,
I have a pair of green, like athletic shorts that kind of are like the same color as my dad's favorite athletic shorts when he was alive. They were a pair of bike coaches shorts, and it's the same color, so there's some nostalgia there. And then I have that really sheer Britney Spears shirt with the paint stains all. I love that shirt. It's just so comfy. That's my favorite outfit. Number one, I'll wear it till I die.
You know, I think something that represents this past decade is probably festival wear. Like the girls wearing like the
Yeah.
flowy dresses or like the cut-off shorts with really baggy cardigans.
Okay, yeah.
I have no idea about any like fashion.
Sure.
What like I couldn't tell you. I've seen I did think it was odd that high-waisted jeans came back because I never particularly liked those, and I never thought that if people are like, you know what, I need these jeans higher.
If a woman has, I guess,
it
or
was a
man,
weird thing.
If a woman or man has a
Bush, too.
nice peach-shaped dumper, I'm okay with a high-waisted jean. And I'm also pro-Bush.
I don't understand how it makes things better or like looks better.
It doesn't
Just
cha-
like all this.
It's no different to me.
unnecessary-
I'm just like, where do you want to unbutton it when you pee?
Yeah.
Higher or lower? Whatever's you're into, whatever you like.
Well, I'm just saying, but like just the look of it, it seems like we went from high waisted in the 90s.
And we went
or
super
whatever.
low. Remember the super low waisters
And then
that
it was
Britney
low.
Spears used
Yeah.
to wear?
But then that made sense. I was like, oh, low,
Too low.
better.
Booty cracks were hanging out
Yeah,
everywhere.
But it's like,
it doesn't
you know.
make sense though. But I think it doesn't.
Visually.
It doesn't.
Then you had mid-rise.
yeah, it's like
But yeah, so, but,
It'll go back to super low.
Are rompers
So-
still a thing for females?
Yes.
Do you still have to like disrobe completely to go to the bathroom?
Yes.
I have to do that in my. I had to do that yesterday.
They don't give us
'cause
like a little zipper down there.
the zipper on my overalls was broken yesterday, so every time I had to go to the bathroom, I had to take off my shoes and socks, my pants. I had to get completely naked, go number one, put all my clothes back on, wash my hands, and come back to work. It took like an hour.
At the urinal, it's got to be awkward.
No, I don't use urinals. I've never been a... Well, no, if I'm out and about, I'll use a urinal. I'm more of a trough guy.
All right, so
I love a trough.
And
I like the camaraderie.
Tell me, Tom, if
Do you
you're...
chirp at the urinal?
No. I'm a good
I just
chirper,
needed to
man.
know.
I'm a good chirper.
I'm sure.
You know, you guys have given me a bad rap. You guys have treated me like
just
Joe.
asking questions.
You guys have
Daniel
treated me like the
chirps at
Joe
urinals.
Rogan.
Oh, he does.
No.
Oh, he's calling you a goddamn liar.
He's cheating.
Call him worse than that.
Then play the tape. Play the tape, Joe Rogan. There's no tape of me chirping at a urinal.
I have used
Play the tape.
You've been chirped at?
No, I don't chirp at a urinal. I'll chirp to him at a urinal to make you uncomfortable, but that's a prank. That's not a chirp.
I'll prove it. Every time me and Daniel walk into the bathroom to bully him,
Makes me use the handicap urinal.
No, the kids.
Oh, there you go, little buddy.
No, because
You dick.
so we walk into any bathroom, and if there's two urinals and a kid one and an adult
Yeah,
one,
he makes me use the baby
I
urinal.
run over to the adult one and make Daniel use the and then every single time,
And I yell you in
I'm
there.
not,
That's not chirping.
But then there's some small talk after. You start with you mother, and then you tell me how.
And then I do my standard dad jokes. I go, oh, this water's it gets cold. The water's cold. And then you're like,
there's some chirping. I'm saying there's
Do Tommy
chirping.
and Max pull their pants all the way down when they use a urinal? or
he
do
pulls
they
them
just-
down for
They
him
don't
because
use a
they're,
urinal.
they're
They
little.
don't use a urinal.
No.
Because it's always awkward when you go to a men's room and then you see like a little kid just completely pull their pants all the way down to use a urinal.
You know, that's because everybody got cheap with their urinals. If we went back, and if I were the president, I would change some things. And one of the things I would do is I'd bring back the urinals that go to the floor urinal. Good old-fashioned floor urinal catches all the spray, catches all the stuff that lands on the floor.
I think you actually may spray yourself more.
I'd never
your
did.
Feet,
You know what? How dare you? I've never sprayed myself.
but then you can put ice on the bottom of them, like Ember did in the mid. Speaking of the mid 2000s,
Yeah, that's fancy.
because it was considered fancy for no reason that I could ever think of.
Kind of cool down the pee-pee.
I'd walk into
So
the
it didn't stink as
bathroom.
much?
It's like
they'd
it
have
stinks
a-
like cold pee pee.
They'd
now.
have a valet in there,
Cold
and
brew.
I'd be drunk. I walk in there, and your ice, sir. All right, I'm so drunk. And I'd,
Oh, they toss it in right before you go?
Oh, yeah.
No, it'd be piles
Well,
down
they're-
there.
Oh.
I
No,
mean,
he'd
there would be a guy
refilling
that
it.
would refilling it.
He's like shoveling coal in a train.
Oh, my God. That is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. That like that sounds,
no lay. Let me put this ice in there.
that sounds like a cocaine idea, like, for sure.
It does sound like a cocaine
That
idea.
sounds like someone was high.
Let's
on
cheat
cocaine.
on our wives and pee on ice. Okay.
Yeah. What's the next?
Dog story. So you remember the story where the guy said his stepdad forced him at like 10 years old to shoot the dog?
Yeah.
He says, unfortunately, that story is true.
Oh.
I was in 6th grade and I was always a grade ahead, so I definitely was about 10 or 11. After thinking about it, the question as to why or any possible lesson taught is that I had grown attached to that particular dog, Booger. I would beg my mom for my stepdad and his friends not to take him to the woods. There were occasions he was allowed to stay back, but it definitely made my stepdad mad because he was the best hunting dog. When he ended up getting injured, it was said that the reason was he had lost his edge and gotten soft from becoming more of a domesticated pet than a hog hunting dog. I'm not agreeing with that, it's just what was said. So I guess my stepdad, who definitely was a dick, blamed me, and therefore my responsibility to handle the situation as some sort of sick punishment, I guess. Oh, I'm familiar with this. I'm familiar with this.
Look,
this is mental
we're
illness.
just doing a comedy
That is
show.
horrible.
You don't need to open up the
My-
Pandora's
No, but
box.
he's explaining that it was true.
My God,
My
now I
stepdad
feel
was a kid.
really bad.
This-
I want to hug this man.
Well, this actually makes it more funny.
Oh, okay.
The other way I was thinking
abuse?
about it is like,
Sir, if you come here, I will hold you, sir.
You get one free hug.
We don't have to say a
more
word. I'll just
extreme.
hold you. And
My
you just,
stepdad was a caretaker for a big rancher, so you always had some kind of gun on your three-wheeler. Even at that age, because of nuisance animals, and mainly the water moccasins on Tahoe, or Toho. I was used to killing all kinds of animals, but obviously that was a little much. It didn't really affect me much, just made me dislike my stepdad even more. I wasn't meant for that lifestyle anyway. All I cared about was basketball and skateboarding back then.
I hate my stepdad. He made me kill my dog.
Oh, he was at the event. He said he was going to be at the villain event, so Dan, I will take that hug. I'm an only child as well and probably need it. Tom, you still owe me an HJ for hitting the lottery. I
Whoa.
do have a room for the night in Melbourne. In fact, the offer is still on the table. I don't know
Wait
what
a
that's
minute.
about, but
We have to sleep with this man now? What happened?
you have a hug and
Hold
you got a
on.
hand.
I'll give him a hug.
No,
Hug and a hand.
We didn't
Two
get the
bits.
email till now, so he was probably there Saturday night just all alone.
Just
in the
waiting.
hotel room.
Oh, did you hug anybody Saturday, Dan?
I did, yeah.
Maybe you hugged the dog man, Booger Man.
I want to ask
I
him.
don't remember him saying anything to me.
Did it make him tougher though? Like, did it make him a harder?
Said it didn't really affect him, other
person?
than his hatred for his stepdad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think any little bit of knowledge
it had to
that
make him a
maybe
little
Yeah, I
tougher,
mean, there's
right?
some knowledge in there. Yeah, there's like
Like
you know.
if I had to kill the dog that I loved, like that would make me,
A psychopath.
well, it would.
I mean, like I think I'd be
I'd
like
be mentally
I'd
tougher.
shoot it, and then I'd be like, oh, there's brains in there. All right, go about my day.
I mean, you're a tougher human if you're able. If you went through
Or
that
it breaks you.
experience. Yeah, you're right. One of two ways. But yeah, you're right. In that scenario that he described, that is not what I thought. It was an exaggeration.
I mean, there's another scenario where, like in my version, where my dad says, well, you got to kill the dog. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. You're just going to have to beat me. You know what I mean? Like, there is a scenario where you're just like, yeah, not going to happen. Sorry, not my thing.
okay.
Not a killer.
I grew up with a little bit of real man pop, and like my dad was a real man, but not like that. But I didn't get
I
that
think we're
much.
blurring lines between real men and abusive
Yeah,
dads.
Yeah, this sounds a little like this guy had an axe to grind about
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
blamed the kid.
But-
yeah, weird. There's some dysfunctional, and this guy's like making, like applying that type of thought to this child.
But just from being around my pop and my father, like I always feel like I need to show how tough I am. Even I think that's probably left over from seeing like growing up with tough men. Like the psychology of a kid is like, oh, I want to be tough. I want to show them that I'm tough. So
I can see that.
I think that So
It's probably why you're obsessed with it, right?
a little bit. Yeah. To a point where
It totally makes sense to me, man. Why do you think I'm obsessed with Maisie's level of anxiety? And why I hyper look at it all the time and it drives me crazy is because I'm that way and I see it and it's the way, like I've had to deal with it and I'm terrified of her dealing with it and I want her to have a better version of that than I did, right? And you're just doing the same thing with your boys. You just want them to, have every tool that they need to be awesome.
Let's do one more.
You want to?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Trailer info. Hey, Dan, I hope you're doing well. I heard on one of the recent shows that you had a trailer that belonged to your mom that you're looking to get rid of. Do you still have it? Could you provide some info on it? I also heard on a recent Friday Free show that you were interested in a rowing machine when Tom brought up the hydro.
Yes.
I happen to have a water rower that I purchased a few years ago but never used, and it's basically brand new condition.
Oh, call Jess. Call Grifton Jess. I need her to go
she might. She's got a whole little gym going on at her
pick
house
it up
now.
for me.
They sell a mount for your iPad, and there are a few rowing apps you can use. Some even connect to this rower via
I'm a little
Bluetooth.
rowing Danny, rowing down the Rhine River.
Did you do a 1-for-1 swap trailer for row machine?
No, you don't want someone's old junk. That's not Daniel's. You don't want anything used.
I gotta see. He says it's
doesn't even like
basically
leftovers.
new.
No.
Yeah, he says it's basically new.
No, basically new to other people is not basically new
Well,
to
this
you.
trailer's not basically new.
Yeah,
But you're getting rid of it.
Yeah,
but some,
you don't want it. Your
some
old
fat
stinky
dad's
trailer.
sweaty butt was on this rowing
I don't think
machine.
he used it at all.
He did say it was never used.
I mean, look
so.
at our listeners. They don't use
he-
rowing machines.
He used it a little bit. It's got
Sat
some sort
on
of
it at
nicks.
least.
And plus, you don't want the one you have to put the mount on there, like your iPad.
That is a little
Yeah,
bobo.
that's not your style.
But I want to see.
You don't want some old person's junk.
I need. You told me that this year you want me to take, be more adventurous, take some risks, do some things, and get out of my comfort zone, do some things I'm not normally used to.
Yeah, but that's
Maybe
not,
I need to drive to this guy's house, check out his rowing
Well,
machine, see if I can
no.
work a deal.
You don't want
He's
that junk.
wondering if you're interested in some sort of trade scenario. Trailer for rowing machine?
I'd have to see what the rowing machine is worth now, because I know what I have a roundabout. I think I know what the trailer's worth.
All right, how about the rowing machine, couple of nudes of your wife?
Wow.
My wife?
Holy
Couple
smokes.
of nudes of my wife.
I'm bartering on behalf of him.
No, but I'm on my trailer's worth more than this rowing machine.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so he's going to have to give me some
Exercise
nudes of his wife
nudes of
on
his
the rowing
wife.
machine.
There
I
you
want
go.
her using it nude.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good look.
Although
It's a repeated GIF.
aftermarket exercise equipment probably holds its value because no one wants to buy it new because they know in the back of their mind they're like, I'm going to be selling this.
It's
soon.
all used at some point, yeah.
I don't know
yeah.
though. Treadmills are pretty cheap on Facebook. I know that because brand new treadmills are thousands of
so
dollars, and
expensive.
you
Yeah.
can get them for hundreds online.
That I think it's because it's so popular to buy a new treadmill and then immediately sell it after it starts collecting laundry. Which, by the way, I saw one piece of laundry in my room machine.
No, you gotta kick it off of there.
Starting.
It'll make you feel better if you just kick it off of there.
I've only used it once, so I'm like, I already failed.
You only used it once?
Yeah.
It's not his.
My wife uses it more, and then also I need to cut out a time for it because it gets to the point where it's 8 o'clock at night, and then Chris is like, "You want to use it now?" I'm like, "Hell no."
Yeah, tired.
Like I've only had one.
I'm so high right now, I can barely walk to the rowing machine. Are you crazy?
All right, bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got our buddy Chris Gwaltney on the line.
Man, buddy, is he our buddy?
He's
I say very close friend. I mean, when you say buddy, it sounds like they're like something weird, or something funny.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. Real good, man.
Of course, from the Humidor.com. Use promo code Tom and Dan for 20% off your purchase. So let's talk cigars because the Super Bowl is coming up this Sunday.
Indeed.
And there's been a lot of cigar talk, especially because Joe Burrow and the meme has been going around of him smoking that cigar from his last win from the conference championship. And I heard him mention, he's like, I've only smoked 2 cigars in my life.
Yeah.
And one was after this, the college football championship and then this championship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a high. Come on, Joe. Like the rest of us, we just want to do it after dinner. Or like,
you're setting the bar kind of high, right?
Like we're not ever going to. I can't win any championship.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm losing at life. Just give me the cigar.
If that's his requirement for smoking cigars, he's not going to keep a lot of shops in business unless he has a career like Tom Brady, where he's winning and playing in a lot of championship games. That's for sure.
Indeed, you need to settle down and smoke one, 1 or 2 a week.
So, what kind of cigar did Burrow smoke? And I'm sure it's like it becomes sought after, and people want to know, and then that cigar sales go up.
It's no different than when you have like Lady Gaga walk the runway, and then she has on a pair of sunglasses that are a little weird, and people are like, they Google and try this at home. If you go to your Google during the Super Bowl and type in Joe Burrow and the letter C, it's gonna say cigar. I'll bet my life on it, and everybody else in the world, because you're not that special.
So, Chris, in the cigar world, is it an immediate impact? Does it take a minute for the people to do the research and know which kind of cigar, and how much of an impact does that have?
It's funny, like cigar people, whether they're avid cigar smokers or industry people, whenever they see celebrities smoking a cigar, you see a cigar in a movie, you're always trying to figure it out. It's like if you're in the military and you're a gun guy, you're always watching war movies and trying to making sure they got the guns right.
Right, yeah.
That
wasn't even made then. Yeah.
Hey, they didn't. That gun wasn't invented yet. We can't have that gun in this scene or whatever. But yeah, with the cigars, everybody's always trying to figure it out. It doesn't take long usually. I think the cigar that actually I think Burrow talked about, I knew he was smoking La Flor Dominicana. I wasn't sure which one, but it's one of their limited, one of the cigars that they don't make a lot of them.
It basically exactly what you're saying is what it says here. I can't pronounce what you just said. And then they say a VIP version is what this article says.
Yeah, they make a lot of whether they're limited tobacco or the size is kind of restrictive. The cigar they won Cigar of the Year several years ago with a cigar called the Andalusian Bull, and it's a very, very limited run cigar just because it's a really big, like Solomon shaped cigar. It's a weird shape, and it's obviously the tobaccos in it are limited, so it's really not one that they make a lot of. And so when it got Cigar of the Year, it's still to this day very difficult to get that cigar.
Yeah,
and
it says
the one that Joe picked is not as limited as the Bull, but it's a cigar that's not one that's not like their Double Lajero series that you'll find in most cigar shops or some of their more everyday run items. So it's a little bit more obscure, but you can find it.
It says here, when the Bengals won the AFC North, he smoked a La Flor Dominicana Mysterio.
Mysterio, that's the one.
Yeah, and it says when they're in stock, the Dominican Mysterio is right around $16.
Yeah.
Dominican Mysterio and Indonesian Bull sound like two wrestlers.
Dominican Mysterio sounds amazing. It's the amazing Dominican Mysterio.
They make amazing cigars, and they're not a big company. Lito Gomez is the owner and proprietor of La Flor Dominicana, and they're in the DR. They grow tobacco. They're really kind of small. Some would consider a boutique brand.
Yeah.
Although they've gained a lot of popularity, but everything they make is really good. They make probably one of my favorite cigars they make is one called Lennox. But they make really good cigars. If the Chisel cigar.
This is interesting.
That was
Chris, it says right here, it says when Burrow played for Louisiana State University, he won the 2020 National Championship game against Clemson. He smoked a cigar custom made by La Aurora for NBA legend Karl Malone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had that cigar. That's La Aurora makes Karl Malone has a cigar and Karl has a rum. And
that's dope.
And La Aurora, which is one of the Jimenez family, one of the oldest, wealthiest families in the DR, they owned a little beer brand called El Presidente.
Oh my God, I love El Presidente. Yeah. They used to sponsor Scooter Sundays.
So they sold to InBev or AB InBev.
And Karl Malone is the only NBA player that I've ever known who wrestled and drove an 18-wheeler. He's a weirdo. That guy's straight up weirdo.
Yeah. So Karl makes that cigar. I've smoked that cigar. I've actually smoked that cigar with Karl in the DR.
That's cool.
He's usually pretty active. He goes down for Pro Cigar. He's pretty good about promoting his brand. He's a kind of a different guy. If you obviously his height, you like this guy had to play basketball. But if he wasn't that tall, you wouldn't know he was an NBA.
He blew my mind as a kid because
he's kind of a country guy.
Yeah,
he's kind of a country dude, right?
That's what I'm going to say. They used to cut to him on Saturday morning the shows that were for kids where they'd go to a sports star and kind of soften him a little bit.
Yeah,
they do these for kids. They're like, hey, we're at Karl Malone's house, and he comes walking out. He looks like Alan Jackson. And I'm like, and as a kid, that he broke the stereotype for me, right? I was like, oh, so big, tall, black basketball players can wear cowboy hats and love 18-wheeler trucks. And then as a kid, I was like, this guy's awesome. I was like, he breaks the stereotype.
Definitely.
So Chris, I've worked out a theory in my mind with all this Joe Burrow cigar talk. Okay, so I think we have an obsession with babies smoking a cigar, right? That's always been a thing, right?
He looks as if he should.
Okay,
it's Roger Rabbit,
so
right?
like for whatever reason,
the world has a baby cigar fetish.
We love, especially cartoon babies, smoking cigars. Right?
People get tattoos of it. Yeah.
That's a thing. It's always been a thing.
It is a thing.
And then Joe Burrow has a baby face. He looks like the kid from Home Alone, which has been a lot. And then when he smokes a cigar, we're like, oh my God, baby smoking cigar. And then that's why it's so popular, because I think, what's that lineman on the Rams? He's like 40 years old to get a gray beard. Like,
I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, that lineman is like the only 40-year-old lineman in the NFL.
Gandalf.
That old grizzled gray beard.
Whitworth? Is that it?
No? Yeah, that's him. But if he's smoking a cigar, it's like, all right, a grizzled old guy smoking a cigar. That's
like when Wolverine smokes it, it's fine.
but baby smoking a cigar, that's why our obsession with Joe Burrow smoking a cigar.
Baby.
Smoking baby. It all comes back to smoking baby. You think there's anything to that, Chris?
Hey, could be. I would have been perfectly fine at the end of Home Alone after Kevin dispatched the two bandits and he lit up a cigar on the curb with the old man that was putting the salt on the sidewalk. I thought that would have been awesome.
Except the old man played by Karl Malone now. Right? Bigger old man, taller cowboy hat.
Oh, the police would have got him good. They'd be like, he's down here.
He has an 18-wheeler parked. Didn't Karl Malone's 18-wheeler have like airbrushed Pegasus on the side of it or something? It was like a blue 18-wheeler and he had like an airbrushed Pegasus on the side. It's the guy's
Maybe we can, with the technology, maybe we can lobby and start a petition for them to add a cigar to Kevin at the end of.
Sure.
If they can take Trump out of Home Alone 2, they should be able to put a cigar.
Yeah, they can totally do it.
Chris,
you can do anything with movies now.
Yeah, just
right?
poof it in there.
So with all this popularity of Joe Burrow smoking the cigar and the memes and stuff, do you think any cigar companies are reaching out to his management? I mean, like, hey, we'll pay you X amount of money, right? Like, I mean, how much money? Okay, Chris,
I'm not saying they're getting very far, but they're reaching out.
Well, you're in this world, right? Let's say, so you're a cigar company and you're like, if you win the Super Bowl and you smoke our cigar after, we'll pay you X amount. What do you think that amount would be that our company would pay for that kind of publicity?
If you could get in there and you could guarantee that you would be the smoked cigar?
Yeah, well, like you pay Burrow X amount, and you're like, hey, if you win and you smoke this,
that's the home run.
Like,
if you could lock that down.
Hey, I've got a funny story for you. So inside story. You guys probably remember the Atlanta New England Super Bowl where the Patriots came back. Well,
yes.
Why you gotta bring that up? I'm an Atlanta fan. Why would you do that to me? What are you doing?
I remember texting Daniel at halftime. I'm like, for sure you guys are going to win because I had bet on New England.
He congratulated me and said, you can party, get drunk.
Daniel does what he always does. He's like, no, they may come back. It's Brady. I'm like, nope. This deficit is too big. It's impossible. And then when it happened, I'm like, oh my God.
He got me good. I didn't even.
Oh my God.
Here's a true story.
How did that happen?
I turned it off. I didn't watch the end of it. I couldn't. But anyway, yes, go ahead.
I can tell you that as painful as that was to Falcons fans, there's a certain cigar maker that was devastated because his cigar was going to be celebrated in the locker room of the Falcons. And so for that whole game, he was just like, this is going to be great. My cigar, he had sent. The funny part is, and it's Christian Arroyo with CLE. And if you watch, I believe it was that season or the season before, they were on Hard Knocks on one of the shows. And Brian Cox was always smoking a cigar. They're one of the defensive coaches.
Yeah.
And he was a huge fan of Asylum cigars made by CLE. Every shot you saw on the series, he had this big, like 7x70 ring gauge Asylum 13 cigar. So Christian had sent him boxes and boxes, and they were going to pass those cigars out in the locker room for the post-game celebration. And he's so excited. I mean, he obviously, dude, if there's anybody in this world that hates Tom Brady more than Christian Arroyo on that night, I can't think of him.
Right, for sure.
Because he knew that Padron, they were going to break out the Padrones in the other locker room because of the relationship that they had with the Padron. So he was absolutely devastated because nobody cares what the losing team smokes.
No, get out of town.
You don't even want him associated with the. You don't want the losing team. Like, he's a loser. He's smoking my cigar.
Don't smoke that. Get that out of your mouth.
But what is that worth, Chris, to the actual cigar manufacturer? Is that like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands? I mean, no, I don't know.
I think it'd be a pretty sizable boost. Definitely for the fans of the team, right? So you got to think anybody's a fan of the team, but then you also got to narrow it down to the demographic of people that smoke cigars. So anyone who's a fan of that team is definitely and smoke cigars. They're going to go get the cigar because they want to smoke the cigar because they're quote unquote celebrating with the team, right? So you have that factor, but then you will get some residual marketing for people who aren't fans of the team, just because they saw the cigar and they're like, hey, if Joe Cool is smoking this cigar after the game, I want to be like Joe Cool because he's cool under pressure.
Hey, Chris,
so I think it could be worth a pretty decent amount of sales.
Are there any athletes? Because we see the athletes that will be linked to a beer. That's an easy one. We've seen athletes that can be linked to liquor companies, and watches is a big one, right? We see like Rolex and Breitling and stuff like that. Are there any big name football players or athletes that
are linked to
a cigar brand, like actually linked to it, or does it get? Unfortunately, it gets almost saddled with cigarettes, which is wrong.
Correct.
But it gets saddled with that for athleticism or for summer. Does it kind of stagnate it or not make it happen? Because it just seems like you would see more like for instance, like if Tom Brady is a cigar smoker, I don't know what he is. I mean, like he's a health nut. I don't know what that matters. But I'm just saying, like, I know there are athletes, golfers, football players that absolutely love cigars and it's their thing, right? Why can't they link to that? Why not? Why is that any different than alcohol?
2 words: tobacco advertising laws, right? So you just don't see tobacco anymore. I mean, you can remember a time when tobacco sponsored everything.
Sure.
You had an entire
Winston Cup.
That time, a better time.
An entire sport. I mean, Michael Schumacher running around F1 tracks with Marlboro on the tail fin of his car.
That's awesome.
I mean,
there's something awesome, but you're driving a Marlboro.
But I am serious when I say, what's the difference between that and Miller Lite?
No, I don't.
Right.
I mean, just to me, there is none.
It's all about money, and it's all about the lawsuits and the settlement and all the states that got money. Florida got a huge chunk of money. So they got all tobacco products get lumped in with cigarettes. So the NFL totally looks down on tobacco. You can't have a cigar lounge in the NFL stadium. You can't. Matter of fact, this year they don't even let you bring tobacco products into. I don't know if it's a league-wide thing, but I know being a season ticket holder with the Jags, when I would go to a game, and trust me, we needed to smoke something, and probably not cigars to get through those games, but they would no tobacco. And I mean, if they saw they think you have if they think you have a can of dip in your pocket, they'll make you throw it out. I mean, no tobacco at all. So the NFL is kind of taking this hard line on tobacco, but yeah, that can run. I mean, we can have this argument all the time about what can you not advertise on TV. We can't advertise tobacco, but you can advertise prescription drugs and opioids and crap that kills millions of people.
Right.
But you can't. But tobacco, is suddenly.
I mean, I just found it to be odd,
especially with cigars.
Yeah, but it's a celebratory cigar. So you're not even selling it. It's not like you're selling Joe Burrow is 3 packs a day cigars.
They let the players though smoke cigars in celebration in the locker rooms.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not that. And none. I have not seen anybody being like, oh, that's bad.
No,
because people know better. I think like if you were like smoking a cigarette, that'd be weird. It would be awesome. It'd
I
be
think
cool.
it would be.
Don't care.
It would
That
be
guy did, right?
Smoking.
It would be really cool if he smoked a cigarette.
I don't think he actually ever smoked.
But smoked it like a
joke.
nerd. What I mean by that?
I thought there was
smoked it like a nerd, where you hold it like you hold it with 2 fingers. Like that would crack me up. Like, am I doing it right? I'm Joe Cool. That'd be hilarious.
Most of these stadiums, it's against. They're not allowed to smoke in the locker room, and you can go back and look, but they'll most of these places they'll get fined. They'll just pay the fine.
I mean, if I win the Super Bowl, I'm doing whatever I want.
Yeah.
Well, not whatever I want. I'm staying away from elevators. I'll tell you that.
What was the other cigar story, Daniel, that you found about the cigar factory?
Oh yeah. We were talking. I guess Chris and I were talking a little bit off the air about, and they're fighting to save this. And it didn't print the other picture, but right outside of in Bartow. There is a historical cigar factory, like an older building that they've been trying to like renovate and upcycle and make it look cool. And it's either that or they're going to tear it down. And you can look at this picture. I'll throw it up on the Twitch thing because I don't have it digitally. Yeah. But it's just like that classic, really cool looking.
Old Florida.
Yeah, old Florida. And
the cantilever windows and the old. Yeah, I mean,
that looks like my old elementary school.
Yeah,
seriously.
It just really is cool. And a lot of that old cigar kind of heritage. I mean, around here in Orlando, up the road to Tampa, Ybor, all of that. I mean, I love that kind of architecture, though. I love the way it looks. It also reminds me of like St. Augustine, where I went to college at Flagler College. Yeah. I love that old Spanish style look of things. And it seems like they want to tear it down, but they're trying to get enough people and get enough money on the table where they can actually keep it. And I didn't know if you'd heard anything about that. I mean, I'm surprised some cigar manufacturer hasn't tried to come to the rescue and scoop it up and make it what it actually used to be again.
I came across that a couple of years ago on Facebook. It popped up on my feed because of, being all the cigar things. And I just liked the page, and I started kind of researching a little bit. I thought it was a cool story, but they've been trying to do something with that for several. It's probably at least 2, 3, could be 5 years. They've been. I know that they've had a Facebook page for a long time, and I've tried to kind of follow along with it. But yeah, that would be cool, man. A lot of small towns, they'll take these things and just turn them into a museum, and it necessarily doesn't have to be just about tobacco. It could be an agricultural museum. It talks about all kinds of old agricultural products. It'd be a shame. They got to find a way to do something.
Well, this one's cool. I mean, there's still some signage there. This was originally the Thomas & Company Cigar Factory. It opened in 1925 after Bartow's Chamber of Commerce made a pitch to lure a thriving Tampa-based business there. So this cigar manufacturer is already in Tampa, I guess, and they said, hey, come on down the road. We'll give you a new big plot of land that you can take over, and we'll save you some monies.
Chris, how many cigars are actually manufactured in the United States?
Not a lot. As far as what we're talking about, premium hand-rolled cigars, just not a lot of mass production done just because of the labor costs, right? You'll have some guys will roll boutique. J.C. Newman in Tampa, they roll some cigars that are you would consider regular production, but they have so few rollers, and so most of the cigars they make there are machine-made cigars of scrap tobacco that they get either from the Fuentes or from their factory in Nicaragua, and they make all kinds of different domestic cigars with quality tobacco, but they use their old antique machines. We got a really cool YouTube video where we visited the factory and showed how those machines work, but not a lot here, just because the labor is so expensive. It's such a labor. You can't really fake the process of hand rolling a cigar.
Yeah.
Truly, you have to have people that know what they're doing, and it's just hard to find. The cigars would quadruple in price if we tried to roll them here.
Yeah.
So
you can kiss those $9 Joe Mixon cigars goodbye if something like that
Exactly.
happens. Yeah.
So, Chris, let's end with this Super Bowl predictions.
Oh.
There it is.
Who do you like? What do you think is going to happen? Go for it.
Rams are 4.5-point favorites. All the money line seems to be going their way. Seems like most of the bets, though, on the spread are going the Bengals' way. I think the total's 48.5 the last time I looked at this morning.
Yep.
So I'm looking at, even though the teams are different, and everybody's going to probably want to take the over because of the receiving cores on both teams, right?
Correct.
You got Cooper Kupp and OBJ, and then on the other side you've got Chase. I mean,
Higgins.
You have lid lifting guys that can tear the top off the offense, and guys like who can run all the routes. It could be inside guys, outside guys. You have two really good quarterbacks, a young kid who's not scared. The guy, he got sacked almost 10 times against the Titans, and it never fazed him. So I think I would take the under on this. I'm thinking back to, you remember when Denver played Carolina the year that Cam Newton won the MVP award, and they were rolling and unstoppable, and Peyton was kind of at the end of his career, and
it was all defense,
making throws. That defense absolutely destroyed Cam Newton. It ended up being, just shut him down.
And
I think
remember who was on that defense. He's playing in the Super Bowl again.
Exactly. And
and
another guy that people don't talk about was Malik Jackson, who was an inside guy on that defense. And Malik Jackson, Aaron Donald, so I do think, I would say that the Rams are going to win this game outright. I think the Bengals cover. I do think the Bengals can win the game. And the main reason I would say the Rams is the defense, is they're physical. And I think they figured out last week against San Francisco, you don't have to finesse a team and throw the ball and go crazy. You got two good running backs. You can get physical, use your physical defense and get in a punching match with a team, which they had to with San Francisco. And so I think they're going to slow this thing down a little bit and not try to go Cooper versus Chase.
Kind of control the tempo of it.
I think you're going to take what the team gives you, no doubt about it. And you'll create opportunities, obviously, down the field by playing some control. But I think both teams are going to you want to keep this thing tight. And I do think that what the Bengals have going for them is Joe Coolman. I mean, you don't sack when's the last time a guy got sacked 9 times in a playoff game and they won? He doesn't care. So it's going to get to the point to where, you're going to have to. I don't know. I'm kind of double talking here. I think the Bengals have a really good shot at winning this game. I think they cover. I think the Rams win. It's going to be by a late field goal. It's going to be that kind of game. I just think Joe Mixon, the running back, we talked about him, his favorite cigar, the tobacco. We talked about a little bit earlier. So you got two cigar guys. So I'm kind of got to go with the Bengals a little bit here.
You have to.
Got to go with the Bengals, and I kind of hope they do win. But I really do think that Joe. I mean, we saw Patrick Mahomes, his superhuman feats came to a crashing halt in Tampa Bay because that defense got after him.
Yeah, they got him hard.
And he did some really miraculous things just to stay on his feet and complete throws and get the ball out of his hand. But they shut it down. And this Rams defense now, I think, is better than that Bucs defense last year. If you look at the playmakers on the back end of the defense, a guy like Jalen Ramsey, you look at the front. I mean, we talk about Von Miller. That's just like that's icing on the cake. Aaron Donald may go down when it's all said and done as the greatest defensive player to ever play football.
He's
period.
insanely
at any level, because
good.
He's freakishly good. He is. We talk. Warren Sapp was a great player. I mean, Aaron Donald's athleticism, as big as Warren was,
but way better.
Things,
yeah.
He is so much faster, so much quicker. I believe the guy could play tight end if you wanted him to. He's an amazing athlete. He's one of the guys that you just don't see a lot of. We talk about LeBron James as a different guy, a big guy that can do all the things that he does. Aaron Donald is to me in that level. So it's kind of hard to go against it, man. But to me, it's like it's Donald versus Joe Cool in my book. I think that's where the game's going to be won.
It's Donald Duck versus Snoopy.
But I really hope the Bengals pull it off. And
well, the chat room, you'll like this. The chat room said, "Well, I'm hearing Bengals, and because he said that, I'm going to the website and ordering today."
Yep.
So there you go.
Use promo code Tom and Dan, 20% off your purchase.
Indeed.
Chris Gwaltney, thanks so much for talking to us today, and we'll talk to you next month. All right.
All right, man. Thanks. Y'all have a
All
good
right,
one.
man.
See you,
You too,
Chris.
buddy. Have a good Super Bowl. That is Chris Gwaltney. Way cooler than us.
Wait to bet the Rams money line right before the game because every square better bets the Bengals money line. Anyway, all right, bye-bye.